Oh, wait, let me not drink while you're talking.
Nah, you can. That's fine. Just don't do it in the mic. That's weird. Okay.
It's fine.
And that's how we're going to start. Welcome to episode 13 of Vino Conversations. Today, I am joined by
Festicia.
Let's get it. Your first ever podcast. Have you even done the audio one?
I have.
Okay, so first video podcast.
Yes, I used to produce podcasts in college.
Sheesh.
So this is my first one being like a guest. So
Okay.
really excited.
Of course. Thank you for coming on. As always, we start with a cheers. Sometimes it's wine, but sometimes it's kombucha. Today we got some
my
kombucha.
favorite.
I've got a pomegranate berry, I think, and you have passion fruit tangerine.
Yes, the
Okay.
best flavor.
Let's get it. Little cheers. Can't splash it. No, this is not beer. I'm not much of a beer drinker. All right, let's give it a taste.
It's perfect.
I love it. I feel like kombucha might be the best mocktail beverage.
I agree.
Like as a beverage itself, without turning it into like a full-on concoction that just doesn't have alcohol, I feel like kombucha is the best. Even though I guess it technically has trace amounts of alcohol, but
yeah, I feel like also if you wanted to get extra, you could. Like
Yeah.
you could do something a little bit different with it.
for sure.
But it stands well on its own.
Yeah,
So,
I like it. That's your favorite flavor?
yes.
Fire.
This one and like the lemon ginger they have.
Okay.
You know it's kind of strong, but I'm a ginger girl.
Okay,
so,
same here. Ginger
yeah.
shots?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be feeling
100%.
good.
I'm on my health vibe all
I
the
feel
time.
you. No, I feel you
so-
on that. 100%. Just put this down here. What's your favorite kombucha brand before we get into everything?
Ooh,
this is a health aid, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm a synergy person. I like the real kombucha. Like I like the intensity.
Okay.
That's my
I like
vibe with it.
Health Aid, but then I found out it has way more sugar than Synergy does. So then I
Yeah.
started drinking Synergy.
Yeah.
But the flavor profile of Health Aid is my favorite.
Okay.
So-
They do have a lot.
Yeah.
100%. Excuse me.
But yeah.
Full of bubbles. But no, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate
Of
it.
course, thanks for having me.
Of course. You know what it was? I was like, she's a professional yapper.
I am a professional
She's
yapper.
a professional yapper. Like when I
And-
saw what you're doing, like this will be good. No, I mean that in the best way because I'm also a professional yapper.
Yes.
Real yaps recognized. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
so I was like,
it's
it's gonna be
the best
a vibe.
way to be,
That's a
arguably. But yeah.
100%. But we got to get to know you better. So where are you from? What was your upbringing like? And how did that kind of shape who you are today?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Guyana. I was born there and I moved to New York when I was about 8 or 9.
Okay.
So been in Brooklyn ever since.
BK, what's up?
Exactly. Most people from Brooklyn are, Caribbean immigrants. So we chose the best, state and borough to be in. Brooklyn is the best borough. I don't really want to hear any arguments. But I feel like growing up in both areas or like spending half of my life in Guyana and also growing up in New York City has really made me who I am now. So it's just been a great, great journey to experience both.
Awesome. What part of Brooklyn?
I'm from East New York.
East New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Heard you. I was going to guess Flatbush.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
That's my
where we
first
all
guess.
are.
Yeah. Fire. You still live out there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still live out there. But yeah.
Got you. How did that shape you culturally? Because obviously everything you're doing, both from like the PR standpoint and Focus Mag, is very culture forward. So what was kind of the culture around you in terms of, music or television, fashion, media, all those things?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I would say, again, like because there was such a huge population of other Caribbeans, I feel like there was never a lack of cultural experience. I always knew somebody that was Dominican or Puerto Rican, Haitian, Nigerian, so many different cultures that would like come together and we just like share, a common love for our culture in a different way.
Right.
I would say even sharing things like different foods. So many moments where I would start talking about something that I love and they're like, no, that's what we have and we don't call it that, we call it this. And I'm like, no, that's not what it's called. It's called this. So like having the little back and forth, I feel like, helps shape you culturally, but also helps you appreciate other people's culture. Yeah. Within also identifying so strongly in my own. And even that, like leaving to explore other areas of New York City kind of like teaches you like we have the privilege of exploring so many different neighborhoods and so many different identities within that. So yeah, just a good melting pot of everything that I could ask for, really.
Got you. And do you feel like that shaped kind of your passion for culture and media and those things?
Yes, 100%. I would say because I'm so nosy and I love everybody's business. I'm like, I love just hearing like what people used to do when they were little. I love talking about what I used to do when I was little. Because obviously growing up in Guyana is not the same as growing up in New York City.
Yeah.
And even now as an adult and saying like I'm Caribbean, being a Caribbean that lives in a Caribbean country present day isn't the same as somebody who is Caribbean in New York City. So I can't always say like I identify with every single Caribbean experience because so much has changed. But just being able to say like I have the experience of knowing that, you know, maybe my family's experience is different from what someone else experienced here in New York, can really help me open my eyes to people's perspectives and just how they see the world. But yeah, I would say it also pushed me to want to explore people's stories. So really putting that like on a pedestal and giving it a platform versus just saying like there's only one way to be a New Yorker or like one way to be a Caribbean, and dissecting those layers. Yeah.
And how much time did you spend in Guyana?
I would say like 8 years. So yeah, since I was
your first
born,
8 years?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like I was like old enough
that's
to remember things.
That's very substantial. That's a legitimate amount of time. Yeah. Got you. And then, so how did all of that in your childhood lead you to kind of what you studied in college and then getting into, you know, working in PR and everything?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always loved writing and reading. Like, that was my thing. My mom would always say, like, when she would read to me or, like, teach me certain things before I actually went to school, I would pretend that I was a teacher and, like, teach my little teddy bears and dolls.
Yeah,
that, like,
that's so cute.
I knew the lessons already or, like, knew how to read even though, like, I was still learning.
Yeah.
But middle school, elementary school, and high school in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So all of those experiences really shaped how much I would, like, come to now value, like, representation and storytelling. So I remember also reading, like, the autobiography of Malcolm X or biography of Malcolm X. In 5th grade. I don't know why.
Revolutionary, girl. Wow.
And looking back, I don't know why
That's
our teacher made us read that in 5th grade. I'm glad he did, but I was just like, as an adult, I'm like, that is a heavy book for 5th graders. But, you know, it was still a good time to, like, figure out and learn things. But also keep in mind, like, I'm still fresh out of another country where race is dealt with very differently. So
that's a good point.
I was learning a lot about how America kind of, like, basically the history of being Black in America and how it's perceived and all of the, you know, trials and tribulations that had to happen for us to get to this point. And then also just gaining a lot of respect for Black Americans because if the civil rights movement and all of these things didn't happen, there would be no room for Black immigrants to be here.
Yeah, it's real.
So many layers, but...
So many layers, because sometimes there's that, not beef, but the issues between, you know...
Ask for wars, I can't...
You know about it. You be seeing it. People talk about it all the time.
I know.
It goes in both directions. It's just like, guys, like, it's okay. Like,
I don't want to partake anymore.
It's such a mess. It's such a mess.
Yeah, but I would say all of those things, and then leading into high school, I remember vividly we had like a lesson specifically about like race and representation in media. But the book that we read was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and that made me fall in love with Toni Morrison. First of all, The Bluest Eye is still my favorite book of all time because it's so touching, but also very... I don't even know the word. It's it does a great job. And yes, like gut-wrenching. It does a great job of showing how important media representation is specifically for Black people in America. I'm not going to spoil it, but I feel like everybody should read it.
At this point, you can pause it, skip forward 25 seconds.
Exactly.
Like,
but I would say that is definitely the book and the exact moment where I knew I wanted to work in PR specifically.
Okay.
Maybe not PR because I didn't know what PR was, but media and journalism.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to have an impact within an industry that has such a huge influence on the way that we think and the way that we choose to treat each other. So that was basically the biggest I want to say like canon event for me.
Yeah.
And that was honestly the one time where I felt like, okay, everyone within like my same age group or like class at the time, like we were all kind of like having this eye-opening moment.
Yeah.
So shout out to my English teacher in 10th grade for making us read that, because that was so great. But yeah, after that, I was just like, I'll just keep exploring programs that were in like really great in journalism. Mm-hmm. And that led me to, well, that didn't lead me to college. I always wanted to go to college.
Yeah. but like your specific school and everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But yeah, even I would say I don't want to leave out the fact that like going to school in Brooklyn also meant that there were so many other like obstacles and like steps to like get to those areas of being prepared for college. Mm-hmm. So I was in a program that basically helped students kind of like prepare us to like go to college without having to worry about not having those resources within our school already. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, most schools in Brooklyn do not have the resources to give students like ACT prep, SAT prep, but I had all those things, thankfully. Yeah. But unfortunately had to outsource that, which another New York City problem that I would love to address at some point in life. But thankful for those experiences and like being able to be prepared through those like professional prep programs. I was very much on it. Like,
shout out you for recently talking to the kids. Yes, as a little sidetrack. That's you giving back. I love that. You know what I'm saying?
We love the kids. Yeah. They really need us.
They do. So, they really do. We'll talk about that too.
Yes, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I'm going on and on. But
no, this is your story, girl. Come on.
But yeah, all of those things. I was always very serious about school, which
were you too serious?
Too serious? Never.
Okay.
Never too serious about school.
Okay.
I would say because I was always thinking about like my future self. I'm like, okay, if I want to go to a school that has all these things, I need to be prepared as a junior in high school or like a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Always think about the next step, and I'm still very much that way.
Yeah.
So that always like led me to like doing all these like extracurriculars. I was like interning in high school.
Sheesh.
So there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
I took a like writing course at like Barnard during one summer, and that also like influenced me to continue into my like writing journey. We had like a media representation class, which was a
that's fire.
Perfect time for me to like have all that. But yeah, that was that. And then
the capital.
We got to college. Yes. So yeah, I knew I wanted to go to a city. I didn't know that I would end up in DC, but I'm so glad I did. Shout out to my DC girls.
Shout out DC. It's a good city.
Love y'all.
Not New York, but it's a good city.
Yeah, it's not New York. Oh my God, I spent my first year as a freshman just being like...
You was that person? You was that girl?
I was so annoying. And I'm so sorry if you met me freshman year.
That's how it be.
I was probably so
That's
irritated.
New Yorker energy, to be honest.
Yes. And like, first of all, my biggest problem was they had no corner stores. And I was like...
That is an issue in DC. I didn't even think about that. That's a fact.
Where's the sandwiches? Where's everything? But anyway, I got over it and I fell in love with DC. I fell in love with the culture. I feel like...
I was just going to say decent public transport, though. I'll give them that. Yeah. I'll give them that.
And shout out to AU for giving us... They give us like these like... student passes.
Oh, so fire. We didn't
have to, fire. So we didn't have to like figure out money for all of that.
That's good.
Because, broke college students, they were thinking about us in that one instant.
Yeah, just that one.
So, that honestly like prompted us to also like explore the city and explore what the city has to offer.
That's
and
dope.
I think being in DC also, obviously, you have so many other schools in the area. So you get to meet other people, explore what they have going on. I had a lot of friends that were on different campuses, so I was never like stuck at AU at all. Cool. But at AU was when I also joined like our only Black publication on campus.
Okay.
And by the time I was a senior, I was leading that publication.
Fire.
So all of that leads me to Focus now. So when I was a junior in college, I had to teach myself how to design magazines for said publication.
Yeah.
because it was right after COVID, and all of like our students that would normally be teaching me how to design had already graduated. So I was like, I am not gonna bother these people while they're figuring out post-grad life.
Yeah.
Let me just sit down,
Figure it out
with my Adobe and Illustrator and what was it, Photoshop, all the things.
Yeah.
In design, and figured it out. It was so fun.
Fire.
I would stay up really late to do it, and I loved it, which is crazy.
That's
I still
good.
do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when I really fell in love with making magazines specifically. And it was really special to be the only Black publication on campus, but give other students of color on campus a space to share their story and share their experiences and their talent, because they were also writing for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the gist of it. PR was my major. Love PR down.
How was that? Like, what was it like studying that in college?
I love PR so much.
Yeah.
I loved all my PR classes. Good
for you. Most people cannot say that about college.
I loved all my classes so much. I think it also made me so excited to like want to graduate and like get into the industry and do all these things.
That's fire.
So many things. I'm like, oh, you guys made this seem so fun.
Yeah.
I love PR. It's so fun. But
you got to show the other side, though, too.
Exactly.
It's important. People can't think it's all roses. And,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I would say I loved all my classes. I made, like, some of my best friends in my classes and, like, through learning so much together.
Yeah.
And I had great professors. Like, I could just go on and on.
Fire.
I had great professors. Our projects were really immersive. So I remember making, like, my first, like, PR plan for a movie premiere. We had, like, a mock movie premiere situation.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And we chose, I chose Batman before it came out, like the Robert Pattinson one.
A very good movie.
Yes. And then that also lent itself to me kind of like being obsessed with the movie when it came out. And then I started being obsessed with The Penguin when it was on HBO Max.
Shout out to
so
Penguin.
Good.
What?
It was so good.
That's an incredible show, man.
I love that show so much. It's like top 10 for me at this point. It's so
all
good.
Time?
Yes. I was like putting everybody on.
Yeah. That show was incredible. What a season.
It was really good. But anyways, we got really like immersed in the industry during that time. I was in PRSSA, which is like a student-led like PR org.
Yeah.
Like PR professionals.
Yeah.
There's also the professional one that's just like PRSA.
Yeah.
But during that time, I think just like learning from my professors who were also so seasoned in the industry and understanding what elements of it I liked and didn't like. So it was good to kind of like understand that obviously it's not always rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
But having the lens of like, okay, how would you act fast and like with the sense of urgency in a situation like that?
Yeah.
But that's also something I'm still learning because I'm still, I guess, like fairly new in my, not I guess, I'm still fairly new within my industry. I'm sure that like someone that's like a SVP or like leading the direct comms approach would know exactly what to do in that very moment.
Yeah. Press the red button. It happens.
They just like know everything. They're like infinitely, prepared. But yeah, I would say my classes were so fun. Again, there's so many jokes on like TikTok or just social media in general about like, if you study comps, it's like, is your homework just about like I have a conversation due at 11:59?
It's funny.
We kind of do have a conversation.
It's funny. But listen, professional conversations, professional yapping is not as easy as people think it is.
It's not.
Or like events and like planning and just like all the cool activations people see think it's just like, oh, like you just call the venue and then magically 10,000 people show. That's not how that go.
And like you don't like things just because you like them. Like, we make you like them, or like we are the people who put those things in front of you to really get you connected. Yeah. So you kind of don't really have a choice.
Come on now.
But yeah, that's honestly the rundown.
Fire.
Again, I was also very involved on campus, so I was everywhere doing everything. And that, again, contributed to me learning so much.
Yep.
I wouldn't have been able to even like have focus functioning without doing so much in college and like learning so much. And I'm grateful that AU had opportunities for like literally a student media department where we were all kind of like within different publications under one united front of like, we're all gonna be this cute student media org. So
I love it.
Like we need a reunion. If you're watching this and
Focus Mag can host
media,
it.
we can do it.
Collab it with Vino Vrade, maybe. You know what I'm saying? We'll put a little thing over that.
It's a cute little moment.
I love it.
So that was great, and just like learning from other students. I think I'll always be grateful for.
Iron sharpens iron.
So yeah.
And then, so you've been at Hunter PR for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be 3.
About to be 3. Okay.
I left in October, then came back literally a couple weeks ago.
Okay. So what's it been like working there?
Amazing. I'm really grateful again to be at an agency that fosters my growth. Every client I've had, or like every team I've worked on with a different client, I think I've grown in different areas, and I'm really, again, grateful that I've had like leaders who have seen different elements within my professional interests and areas of growth, that they kind of just like lifted me up in those areas to make me even better. So
and Focus Mag, obviously got to talk about that, you know, obviously the initiation point, just how you would describe it and promote it to people.
Yeah, sorry. The sip of this was extra good. Okay.
No, it's mad good, right? And it's a little bubbly. It's a moment. I'm telling you. Listen.
Let me take a second.
Yeah. Enjoy it. You don't chug it. You enjoy it. Yeah.
So, Focus Mag is a digital and print publication, and we focus on community, culture, and change makers. And it's essentially created for Zillenials. So, if you're on the cusp of being Gen Z or a millennial, or you're right in the middle, this is a publication for you. I'm right in the middle, so exactly. I relate for sure. So I'm sure you love us. Yeah. So we basically do that, or put those things at the pedestal of what we really deem as important within, you know, our generation. So that could be through music, culture, life, fashion, and sports. So anything that you need, anything that you want, you'll come to us. We'll give you the rundown on what's happening in the world within, you know, our time, because there's a lot happening all the time.
Complex, you better watch your days, bro. It's over for you.
Complex,
Get focused. Get focused, you all right? No.
But yeah, we are just, you know, doing the thing. Yeah. And really happy to be able to do it on top of all the other things that I work on. So, yeah.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Y'all had a really fire breakdown. I think it was of Kendrick's album GNX and like the tweets and everything. I was like, this is good content right here.
Thank you.
You've been going crazy with it. And it's like, I obviously working through like Five Aside Media, Wavy Footy, Vino. Like I know what it's like to build, even just building a social profile in general, and like the work it takes to get out the content, to slowly gain the traction of the followers. Cause it's not like you get this celebrity endorsement and there's this, you know, this giant spike in like just the constant dedication. So major props to you.
Thank you.
Very, very proud of you. That's amazing. No, of course.
Best.
Absolutely love to hear it. And then who's on your team?
So many people. So my team is actually made up of so many people that I actually went to school with too. So that's really
Shout out
great.
AU.
All of our SOC girls and boys. So we have, obviously, as I mentioned, life, music, culture, sports. I hope I'm not forgetting one. Why am I forgetting? But
like TV shows, that one, TV, film, so like, or something. Yeah,
they all fit under their little categories, but each person within the team would like lead one kind of like pillar.
Yeah, makes sense.
So everyone on the team, honestly, again, native New Yorkers mostly, people I've gone to school with, people that I've met, or like come up to me at events and like really express interest, and they're really excited. I'm like, oh, please email me. Yeah, we'll talk. Love it. I like interviewed this girl the other day who was interested in joining, and she pulled out both of our print magazines to be like,
she physically has them.
Yes. And I was like, oh, I love you. Like, you don't even need to answer a question.
Yeah. So, come on, boy.
Fine,
that's fire.
So I love that. And I think even from the beginning, when we were, I don't know, we probably had like 50 followers. Yeah. Our first events that we've had, everyone was like always really interested in like getting involved or like knowing what was happening. So that also always kind of like lent itself to having that community feel and having people be interested in joining. So yeah.
Fire. What was your first event?
Our first event was our launch party.
Cool.
It was like more of a mixer for our visionary issue starring Josiah Powers, the photographer. And this was held at Bass Studio. Shout out to Bass.
I feel like I heard of them. Yeah.
And yeah, it was, I want to say like October 2022, which is crazy because this was like my second magazine of the year. Like, just keep that in mind. I like designed my magazine before graduating college in May. That dropped. And then a couple months after, I was like, okay, well, let me start the other one that I'm going to launch. In October. I was just always doing something. But if anyone's ever designed a magazine, I feel like you would understand how crazy that is. Yeah. But it takes hours. One page would honestly take you a couple days because you're kind of like, well, it depends on how particular you are. I very much will hate something the next day after looking at it too long. So it always takes a long time, but looking back and thinking about the fact that I did 2 in 1 year is actually insane. I don't know if I'll do that again. Yeah. But yes.
Fire. Absolutely love it. And what is the biggest goal with Focus Mag? Like, where do you see it going? What do you want the legacy to be of this brand?
Such a good question.
The North Star, you got to know your why.
I honestly want it to be as big as it possibly could go. So I honestly see it as the publication that everyone will look to for what is happening or what is yet to come. Thinking also from the lens of like trend forecasting, or not even just trends, but really holding space for people to really holding space for
industry
people to
words.
Literally, for people to have very nuanced conversations. But overall, I do want to expand to obviously different cities. I think right now it's great that we are so focused on like the New York City culture and New York City as a whole. And I think that will be obviously always a part of our, I guess like number one pillar or the one thing that keeps us grounded. But
home base. Yeah. Headquarters kind of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. But I do see it being something that everyone looks to for what's happening in culture, kind of like the culture defining publication of our generation.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
I love it. Listen, like expanding to other cities. So when you say that, you also mean like event-wise? It's not as hard as you think. Because I've started to do that now with my Vino in Philly and LA. And sometimes you just need a venue that's down. And especially if the venue can already kind of attract people and it's just bringing your vibe to another location, you'll be surprised how much people are actually down. And especially when you say coming from New York, coming from Brooklyn, I think it holds so much cultural weight that these other cities are like, oh my God, yes, please.
Yeah.
And then they get to say, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they get to say, oh yeah, the people from New York. And it just creates this vibe. So whenever you're trying to push that button, like you can make it happen. Yeah. For sure.
Thanks for that push.
Of course. I got you. We got to collab on something too.
We should.
We really should, because I've been trying to continuously like make the Vino events sit in a bunch of different formats. So I've done ones like where I partner with a photographer and it's like a mixer. The same social event and party, but a little more toned down. And then the photography is set up kind of like as a gallery space. I have another art one coming out in May. TBD on that. It's going to be very, very exciting. So it's going to be like an art gallery kind of vibe. Yeah. But I also want to do ones that are more like networking events sort of things and mixers and that. So I was like, nah, this sounds like the right type of vibe, 100%. Nah, but you didn't spill. See, almost is not enough.
Yes. I saved it. Yeah. But no, 100%. I feel like I'm always down to collaborate, especially because that's a huge part of, our value. But then I think connecting other people to different aspects of what builds a great community. Yeah. It's like a perfect connection.
Yeah. Now we'll talk for sure. That's fire. But speaking of culture, now we're going to get into like just some different topics and whatnot so we can really, really be our professional yapper selves. So I want you to rank some marketing tactics of which ones you thought were the best. I thought this would be very on brand for you. I knew you would like it. So Severance pop-up in Grand Central. I think you saw that, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Do you remember the movie Smile?
Yes.
And they put the person behind home base. And they had the people doing the smile at a bunch of different sporting events to promote the movie.
I didn't see all the aspects of it, but I remember.
So it was like a Dodgers game, courtside at the Lakers, and they just held this smile like anytime the camera was on them. Super creepy, but it promoted the movie very well. I forgot the name of this movie. It's the guy, there's mad billboards about it. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but he looks like mad beat up. It's this white dude who was in Scream. Anyways, during the whole thing in the movie is like he's being chased down by like gangsters or some shit like that, some white dude. And so during the game at a Clippers match, he got progressively more beat up. So he started like in his suit and tie, and then he has like a punch in the face, and then he has a bandage, then he's in crutches. So every time they'd cut to the camera, he gets progressively more. Courtside at the game too. And then Saratoga sparkling water.
Wait, what happened with that one?
Ashton Hall?
No, break it down for me.
You're playing.
No, I don't know.
There's no fucking way. Saratoga. I'm like, yo, you cannot be focused, man. I have like, come on, yo. There's no way.
I'm so funny because I'm like,
I was like, yo, what is going on right now?
I heard water and immediately thought Poland Spring. I'm like, wait,
Poland Spring.
Anyway, I lost my brain for a second. But no, that is hilarious.
Yes, and then lastly, actually, the ocean spray skateboarding guy. Remember the dude who was skating on TikTok? So out of all those, how are you ranking those?
Huge list. Okay, I would say
I'll give mine too.
I don't even know if I would say the Saratoga sparkling water.
It was sparkling, right?
Yes.
Which is insane to dip your head in sparkling water. Why don't you just drink it, bro?
With some fruit.
Yeah. Like, I respect it. I respect homie. Get you a bag, bro.
Self-care,
and it is great water, though. It actually is the best water.
Well.
One of the best waters.
It's so good that he went to dip his face in it. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I would actually put Severance as number one.
Yeah.
I feel like that one is a lot more intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It also really lent itself to the idea of being severed. So
yeah,
it's like they're in Grand Central. They're in this box. We see them and we know what's happening, but they don't know what their situation. So it kind of like mimics how the show
You're good.
is.
You're good. Yeah.
It really mimicked how the show is set up and how we view it, you know, when we're actually watching the show.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one. That's a great way to break it down, actually.
Honestly,
I didn't think about that.
Is number one.
Okay. You don't gotta like rank them in order, but the other ones that you know.
Yeah, honestly, the rest, I'm just like, that was fun. That was cool.
Yeah.
Saratoga, I'm just like, oh my goodness. It also was so continuous that like he kept popping up at, what was he at? Like a game?
Was he?
He was at some game with like Mr. Beast or something. I saw a complex post about it.
Oh, yes. It took him like 40 minutes to do the shot, to make the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the timestamp is what also adds to his shit.
Yeah.
He's such a troll.
I think I'm surprised that, like, has Saratoga done anything with him yet?
He's definitely sponsored. He has to be.
I don't know if he is.
But, nah, there's no way. We're going to check this live.
They need to put hashtag ad on that.
Do you know what? Oh, that's true. So maybe he's not. That is crazy. I'm going to their page. I spell Saratoga.
Which makes it crazier.
That does make it crazier.
Like you're just naturally.
Yo, they have not posted anything. Yeah. What a boring Instagram account.
Yeah. Saratoga,
you guys are not.
They kind of remind me of what is that other brand? Grey Goose. Even though Grey Goose is Instagram, you're fun. But
no, that's a fact. The color scheme, the whole like sleek aesthetic and everything.
That's what immediately came to mind.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised they haven't worked with him yet.
That's crazy.
They should.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I absolutely love it. So I know you watch a lot of the TV shows that are out. You know, a lot of the big ones. You watch White Lotus, correct?
I do.
Okay, thoughts on this season? And is tonight the finale?
It is.
Yeah. I know.
It is the finale.
Are you caught up?
I'm behind one episode.
Okay. I mean, this season ain't that crazy.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go on my phone though.
I was like that one story with
Oh yeah, the monologue.
Yes.
The Asian girl monologue.
Oh my God, yeah.
See, that right there is very much what this studio be when I feel like I'm not recording. That'd be the types of conversations people have.
I saw that episode and I was like, what is this season doing?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, give your thought. I'll give my thoughts, but
the season is so, well, I will say I was disappointed when it first started. I don't think it picked up until the last season. I mean, not last season, last episode.
The one, once they got on the boat and it started getting really weird, but that could have been episode like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I get that like in modern television, it's a lot of like mood TV. It's not as much like just action based and like each event leads to the next thing and it's very much more subtle. And then they have the callbacks and everything, but it's a bit too slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Compared to last season's too, I feel like it wasn't that slow.
Yeah, or do more episodes or I don't know. To already be done is like, I don't know. It just got good. Like, I don't know. I do like some of the like Buddhist, you saw the last episode.
Yes.
Like the Buddhist nonviolence thing that he was talking about while they were showing the Muay Thai fight and then like the relation to everything that's going on this season. I thought that shit was dope.
Yeah.
So I like how they're tying in like that piece of Thai culture, I guess you could say. But I don't know.
I think, yeah, they're doing a really great job. And there was an episode where the trio of women, they went on this like, they're going through like this community and they're really upset that like the natives are doing their tradition of like throwing water.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't do this. I'm wearing this. Like I'm wearing this is gonna get my clothes wet. I can't. Yeah. And everyone's like, no, like this is what we do. Like it's like
it's also our country.
Here. Yeah. You're in our space.
Yeah.
So I think the entire season again is like showing that like entitlement that people have when they travel and like any of us could be susceptible to like doing those things. Yeah. But I think particularly some people are more like
white women
to do that.
White women, yeah.
So I think
that too. Well, they're not even traveling to Thailand. I don't think.
Oh my God! Yes, forgot that scene too. Ugh. Too many things.
Who was the Trump supporter? Oh yes.
What you call it? Switzerland.
I was gonna say the tall one, but they're all tall.
The woman, the blonde Bob, who just like
and she was like,
the church who just like she just appeases everyone. Yeah, she just appeases everybody. I actually really like that trio and like the 3 distinct personalities,
like the dynamic they have
and like just how fake they are with each other. Like the characters are really good. It's just more needs to happen.
Yeah. I think
and then the family too. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God, the family is.
The brother shit is insane.
The brother.
They're really getting into some. Excuse me. They're getting into some crazy shit.
I also think like I was looking at this girl on TikTok was talking about how like shows like Severance and White Lotus, they're like showing all these layers of, you know, capitalism and like these critiques. But everyone involved in the show, like they are also like they're also within that system, and like they're kind of giving this like fake empowerment of like, oh yeah, we can see you critiquing this, and like giving them props for something that they're also promoting. Yeah. But anyway, getting that one friend that's too woke. That's me. Yeah. But basically, I do think like this season is really good in terms of like the symbolism and everything we're saying, but. Again, really slow. Yeah. And I feel like usually I would be able to predict what's happening or like what would happen next. Yeah. But I think the one thing I would give them props for this season is like I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Which is not a good thing, but it's also a good thing where I'm like, okay, I'm surprised. I would never have guessed that dialogue. Yeah. Like, why put that in there? I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, it plays on. You ever seen 90 Day Fiance? Yes. And it's like the older white men with the Asian girl, which is like a real thing. Yeah. They're like, let's break it down. So they broke it down in the craziest way possible.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah. I wonder, I'm like curious about like how they even decide what their season is gonna be about. Yeah. Like, who comes and they're like, you know what we should talk about those guys that are really obsessed with this thing. Mm-hmm. But they do a really good job with that.
I feel like they're gonna do next maybe South America or Africa. And that'll be really interesting. There's a lot of dynamics, especially if you do like a resort in like South Africa and the history behind. I think there's some, they can keep it going. Like in the first 2 seasons were so good, even if this isn't as good, it's not like the show's gonna end sort of thing. And they probably leaned one way a little too much. I think they can correct that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Agree. I also think like it makes me think about, okay, what would I do if I was in a certain situation? Because even Natasha Rothwell's character,
Kelly, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I can't unsee it. I can't
I'm like,
unsee
Kelly,
it.
what are you doing on
She's so. That'd be a great spinoff. Just actually make it Kelly instead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Issa pops up out of nowhere.
You know what I'm saying? Issa and Lawrence honeymoon. Yeah.
Literally, we got to make that happen.
Listen.
But I think in dynamics like that, I feel like I'm watching and I'm like, okay, what would I actually do in that situation? Or
it's crazy.
It's obviously easy to judge from the outside looking in, and we're like, okay, I would never go up to the person that I know was involved with this person that I knew way back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, first, I don't even know what I would do. But
yeah.
I think that storyline, like them bringing that back from season 1, was kind of smart and interesting because I don't think it was touched on a ton last season.
In season 2, no. Was he in season 2?
I don't remember. Was he just like popping up?
Yeah.
The guy that was the older one that
who was
like,
with Jennifer Coolidge is her name?
Yeah, not barely.
Yeah.
Okay, he was barely in season 2 because the whole shit was season 1.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So I was just like, okay, it's cool that they brought this back, but also they like left it kind of like not relevant in the last season. But
yeah, got you. Will you agree with my take that Apple TV is better than Netflix? For sure, right? So I've been thinking about it. When I say that, let me get, because also I love reality TV, so we're not talking about that.
Let me think.
I'm saying in terms of like quality television, when you do Severance, Silo, Dope Thief just dropped, phenomenal. It has the guy who played Paperboy in Atlanta with Donald Glover. That show is crazy.
I wish I would learn his name. Every time I think
yeah,
about
my
him,
fault, Paperboy. Yeah, my bad. But he going crazy.
Atlanta was so good. I want that
incredible
back.
show.
I want that show.
Atlanta, Insecure, like those are 2 of my favorite shows ever. Those shows, Presumed Innocent was crazy. I heard The Servant was good. Silo is phenomenal. Yeah. Like I heard Shrinking is really good. The new one with Seth Rogen, Studio, I think it's called. Like their percentage of hitting that is like just a quality show. Oh, Blackbird was insane based on a true story. And I looked it up after and it's like 100% true. It's not even like kind of true. It's one of the craziest stories ever. I just think their percentage of like, we're going to drop a drama or a thriller, they knock it out the park. Okay. Netflix dramas and thrillers for TV shows. The British ones are pretty good. I've seen some good British ones. Good. You know what I'm saying? But American is like, and it's just, I think they drop too much. Netflix is becoming a reality TV place. Yes. And they just got to pop the balloon.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? No. So 0 Day's not that great.
I do think
like, I don't know. They have the budget, but.
Yeah. Okay, when you put it like that.
So I'm saying dramas, thrillers, TV shows specifically. Because you can't compare the overall output. Netflix is so big. That's their only focus. Like, you can't really compare that, but.
Yeah, I would agree. I would even say that, like, Netflix might be leaning a little bit too much into what's trending and, like.
Yeah, a whole show, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like. I don't even know.
You know what I mean? Nah,
it's like cool, but I think. Again, they want to be in the conversation so bad that they're like, okay, let's just put this together. You know what
they remind me of is like Apple TV is a really intentional fashion brand and Netflix is fast fashion. Just pumping Steve Madden, H&M, just fucking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's like the big difference that I see between them.
Yeah.
And even Max, I think Max is doing much better too than Netflix in terms of like high quality dramas and thrillers and those sort of things.
I really miss I guess now we have our Sunday show, but I always think back to like Euphoria days when like
we was eating good.
Euphoria Sundays,
Euphoria, like, Insecure, and the Michael Jordan sports. I feel like a lot of this was like 2020.
Yeah,
the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. Yeah, it was all around that era. Just so much good TV
even
came
like
out.
Game of Thrones fans. I'm not a Game of Thrones girly.
Did you ever watch it?
I probably started like 5 episodes.
I watched it. It's great, but it's not like the best thing ever. But I caught up like late, so I wasn't like I didn't go through the journey the same way. So I didn't watch it as intentionally. Lastly, you want to get into some music stuff for the last few minutes. I saw you say something about R&B not having any more romance, and I took that personally because that's not true. But I want to hear your take on this.
I think R&B does have romance.
Okay, were you talking about music overall?
I was talking specifically about like sexy drill being very lustful music.
That is true, but now they have sexy drill and B, as I call it, where it's like R&B over sexy drill beats.
Okay.
Because I will agree, sexy drill music is just like,
Yeah.
Cash Cobain just lists 40 names each, and then I was with Tisha, and you know what I'm saying?
Like, there's a lot.
But we're not there for the lyrics, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's just the beat, I would say.
Yes.
I don't think anyone's like, yo, when Cash Cobain said, like,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know, you
not
know what I'm
like
saying?
some deep lyrical situation.
Word.
But I do think that I want more. I guess there is romance in R&B, but I want it to reach the mainstream audience more.
If you know Friday, I'm doing my best. Yeah.
Right. So y'all better pop out. I guess I need to pop out more often too.
Hello, yeah.
So I think that's really where the frustration comes from. I think we get stuck in like the same type of R&B topics. Like we don't always need to, okay, heartbreak is awful.
Yeah.
But that was so dismissive. Heartbreak is awful.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should be the only, topic that, R&B artists should be kind of praised for, which feels like that's kind of like the
dark, moody, bright party next door. Yeah,
all the breakup songs. It's fine, it's cool, but I don't listen to it every day because I'm like, girl, or boy,
I feel you.
So yeah, I want more of like a push towards like more love within R&B to be in the mainstream versus it just being like, okay, well, I love this song because it just like it's so gut-wrenching. Yeah,
there's some good artists that are on the come up that are definitely hitting on the lover side of things. Do you know Isaiah Falls?
Yes.
Isaiah Falls definitely leans into it. His tour. What?
I said I need to listen to him more. I feel like I saw something. Someone like sent a song to me. But anyway, continue.
His tour was called, I believe, Lovers Only Tour. And he'd always do this shit with the fans. And I know that's just like branding, but like, no, his music's definitely romantic. Yeah. Now, it might be the full scale or the full width of what can occur during romance. So it's not only like, oh my God, I'm madly in love with you, but that kind of song can exist. Where I do agree that some artists do focus on like the beginning phase and it never gets past that. And it's just like, a bunch of hookups vibe. Or it's always just like, I cheated and I'm sorry, or it's like I have mad girls, or it's like it's just always the end point. Yeah. So the separation point. So I do agree, but it's out there. Yeah. It's out there. I do think with music it's hard too because we don't have 106 in Park anymore. We don't have MTV in terms of curating like what is even mainstream music. Like it's very nebulous. So you have to really go find it. I will say that, which is part of why I'm passionate about, pushing new R&B out there because it's harder to find it because it's not as, like statistically, it's not as popular as it used to be. And we don't have a 27-year-old who's going to turn into what Usher is now. Like it's hard to see who that star of that level, like.
Oh my God, that's a whole other conversation.
Do you know what I mean? That like dominates the charts. But then it's even like, who's going to be the next rap superstar? You know what I mean? Like music's just like, we had the big three, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole. But its fan base are also so segmented. It's much more like straight to consumer with the artists. So that's also, I feel like you kind of have to search to find and create your taste. Yeah. Because there is no just like package to receive as like the generic music. Other than I guess if you listen to the just Rap Caviar, the big R&B playlist, and maybe like an Afrobeat one on Spotify, which is going to be the ones that the label's pushing, obviously pay for placement. It's like what is even mainstream music, if you know what I mean. So it's an interesting point. Yeah. Yeah. I
think also, again, like the way artists are being discovered is changing. So like you said, like it isn't the same as like, oh, we know this one person's going to be the next whoever. And even that, I feel like it's hard to even find the next insert name because the standards are changing for what we like. And it might even be on us for expecting so much, or like having this like need for like instant gratification, and like for artists to constantly push out new music all the time. But yeah, that's another layer too. But Yeah.
100%. And then you also mentioned how you think it can be affecting dating as well.
I do think it's affecting dating.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts. But I think I think in general, whatever we listen to is going to impact like our thoughts and like what we decide to, lean towards and our approach to dating and how we communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think the lack of R&B or like whether someone is deciding to like listen to a specific type of R&B that's like leaning towards love. Like let's say somebody's listening to older music.
Yeah.
That was very heavy on like showing all this affection or whatever, because it's not, I guess, like normalized within Gen Z culture to care so much, because nonchalance, is that even a word?
Nonchalant,
not caring as much is cooler than someone being like, no, I really like this person, I'm gonna put my all into this. And obviously that's scary. I get I'm not in the rain. I'm not standing in the rain.
We also realize this is one of my things though too. All those older artists, not all of them, they lied though. Like when you hear what's coming out about like Neo and just Trey Songz and just not to even mention the level of like the R. Kelly, like that crazy criminal level. Just like I lied. So if like Brent Fires, is he toxic? Is he not toxic? Well, I prefer honesty than like a fake fairy tale. Yeah. And then we hear that he was beating your wife for 20 years sort of thing. So that's the other thing. I do appreciate that honesty in R&B. You know what I mean? And I actually think R&B too has now there's more R&B now that actually isn't about romance. You think about Solange, her album was really about being a black woman, capitalism, systemic racism, mental health. You think about Cleo Soul, it's a lot about mental health too, like meditation, relationship with God. So it's also, I think it's good too that R&B, and that it's better for the genre. It's not purely about just romantic involvement. It can be just a music genre to express anything, the same way, rap can be Afrobeat, country, whatever. So
I agree. I think it's important, again, like you mentioned, there's so many layers to R&B, or like so many different ways you can listen to it. Yeah. And I love that those artists, especially Cleo Soul and Solange, are taking it in a different route, or just like not letting it be like this one specific thing that you can only focus on. Yeah.
Do you know Umi?
Yes.
I feel like you like Umi. Yeah. Like her. She's dope. She's a young artist too.
So sweet. Yeah. She actually did like a virtual concert for AU, and we did like a Q&A.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah.
So love her too. But yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe this shift of like R&B being used to even talk about, I guess, like coming of age experiences,
chasing dreams, all that shit. Yeah,
like help people discover more about themselves and start, loving different elements of their life and their journey. Important. So that could lend its way to that romance.
It'll prepare you.
But yeah, I think all of the things could be true at once. Yeah, I don't think it should all be about love. Yeah, and that's okay. Because that looks different for everyone. Yep. I don't think everyone needs to do things the exact same way to find whatever. I'm not a love expert. So
I am, but
so yeah, just find what you like. Yeah, I don't listen to love music like R&B that's only like focused on love every single day. I'm really a pop girly down. Like I love pop music. Or like Afrobeats. Like I need uplifting type of energy, because girl, I'm really not trying to cry all day.
That's funny.
I'm really not. Like, I listen to one or two low energy type songs. I'm like, I'm actually not trying to cry.
So you really diving into the music, because I can play a Bryson album, which it's a range of emotions, but it's more just like the melodies and the soothingness of it, and I'm like in the background type vibe. But so you're saying when you listen, you never put like background music. It's got to be like me into the album, because I agree. Because if you're really listening to what Summer Walker is writing, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean,
London was wilding. Like
exactly. Like there are certain songs where I'm like, no, I hear you.
Yeah,
like I hear you.
Yeah.
I do listen to background music, or like put stuff in the background too, but I'm definitely one that's like, what did you say?
Yeah, no, I feel you, because I listen to lyrics too, for sure. Yeah, when I'm actually like in a focused music mode versus background.
Yeah.
But speaking, and this will be our last topic of kind of like music in its relation to romance, what do you think needs to be done for Gen Z / No, I'd say Gen Z. I'm 97, so I'm the beginning of Gen Z. I'm Gen Z's big brother.
You're kind of Zillenial.
I'm very Zillenial because I don't feel like I'm fully Gen Z, or because I'm definitely not millennial either.
Yeah.
Because my sister is 36. That's like millennial. But I don't really feel super Gen Z. But anyways, I guess that's this is Zillenial vibe. I guess you're Zillenial cusp as well. What needs to change, like physically outside? Because people, the statistics, people are dating less, people are having sex less, people are getting married less, like all that. Like, what do you think is something that could positively swing it in the right direction? One thing, obviously, because it's a super deep problem that goes into technology and AI and porn and all types of, it's very deep. But
am I the
curious your thoughts?
Ask? I don't know. I don't know.
Because I know you be thinking about it, because when you ask about the male loneliness, I'm like,
I think about it a lot, and I think, again, like, community might be the answer.
I think it is.
Again, this goes back to, like, something else that was brought up when this topic was probably, like, the number one thing people talked about on socials.
Yeah.
And something stemming out of the pandemic, but it's, like, the lack of friends introducing friends to...
That's how I met my girl.
Their potential. Wow, see, like, there's evidence. So we need more of that.
And people meet at Vino Verade, pull up.
Right.
People really be going on dates.
To these events.
People really be getting dates from it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we need more of that. And I think, again, obviously social media plays a role. I think people get intimidated by whatever they're seeing.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way. Like, obviously, I think people are also very hesitant to show their personality digitally or even like in person. Yeah. So that adds another barrier for people to even like understand you without having to like go through all these.
That's real.
Like there needs to be something, you can't be like, I'm never going to show anything or like, you need to be telling all your business, but give us something.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
But I think, I'll just keep it simple, say community more. Cool. And honestly, more transparency.
That's a fact.
With yourself and the person you are, however many people.
Yeah.
You're chatting it up with.
Yeah.
I know y'all be outside.
I know y'all be outside. You're so funny.
So I think more transparency. The reason why I say with yourself is also like, understanding, do you even want to do all this? Like,
because dudes are scared to shoot their shot right now. The level of male approaching, and I will say this is what R&B is missing. It's not even just romance. It's like, oh, who's she? I want to go say what's up. Yeah. The walk-up music is what I call it. The walk-up music, I will say, is a little bit lacking.
Missing. Like, Slow Down by Bobby V. I just want to
You know what I'm saying? Like, who like, because that's important.
I'm just kidding. You can approach me. I'm very nice. Being very transparent about like how available you are, literally with like time, but also emotionally. Yeah. Is it the right time for you to be connecting with people? Yeah. But even with that, I don't think people should get caught up in like, oh, I'm not perfect, so I can't ever talk to anyone. Because you can become your best self with another person that
that's a fact,
matches your energy. So. Yeah, be open and you can grow with the person while you're still figuring shit out. You're never going to figure it out. Yeah, you're constantly figuring it out, constantly changing. So exactly, but don't put anyone through like the ringer. Like
that's a fact. Yeah.
It's a balance. So yeah.
I think too, people have to realize like you're going to have to go through trials and tribulations in a relationship, bro. Yeah. Like it's not going to be this perfect storybook. Never, ever argue about anything ever because that would be completely plastic. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like you also have to have some level of give and take and some level of like, I feel like I agree with the thing you said a lot about like kind of social media and how through that you kind of start piecing together what you think is this perfect picture of what you imagine a partner should be. But no one will ever be that picture because that just does not exist. And people are more complicated than the boxes we put them into or the certain characteristics that tend to be pretty superficial as well, or even certain personality traits. So it's like you have to just want to grow with that person and not like the idea of a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband, wife sort of thing too, I would say. And I feel like we create that persona that we want and people chase the persona, but it's like you need to simply just care about the person, period, is what I feel. Yeah,
you hit everything. That was smart. But
that's how we're gonna end it. Listen, I'm on my Hitch journey, you know what I'm saying? Will Smith, have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I have seen Hitch.
I'm trying to be like Hitch, man.
Yeah.
But you didn't like the movie? Damn, my fault.
I was reflecting on it. I'm like, yes, that was a really good movie.
Oh, I appreciate it. Oh, the movie. Yeah, and that was a good movie. What's his name? Kevin James? When he's doing the dance, the big white dude.
Oh my God.
Classic meme.
So many years ago.
Love
that was
it.
a really good movie.
Love it. Real quick, how much time do we have?
None.
None? Okay, yeah. I appreciate y'all. Conversations episode 13. Peace.